Radical honesty is where, honestly, the real change is going to start. It's something that I've been doing on autopilot that I don't even realize, or I'm not really aware of how difficult it can be honest with ourselves, to be radically honest with ourselves, and to ask ourselves the questions that sometimes we are afraid to find the answer to. I really only got aware of this aspect of life being so radical and so groundbreaking through a conversation that I was having with a friend. It's honestly, looking back on it now, real change and everything. If we want to see growth, if we want to move forward, if we're unpleased with the place where we at in life, is going to start with being honest with ourselves and having those difficult conversations with ourselves. So let's get into the video and talk about it. I say it a lot of the times, and I think we've talked about it before, that emotions is not really something that we can control, that we will always understand. And it's really something that we just have to accept and just try to look at, understand, and tend to, in order to not stay stuck and for them to get control over us. And I see that a lot of people, you might, sometimes you might be in a place right now where things are actually very good. You've worked hard for the place where you're at right now. You're very content with what you have. You have an amazing partner. You have an amazing job. Things seem right on paper. You're supposed to be so happy with what you have, and somewhere you are. But sometimes there might just be this one feeling internally that there is something missing. One thing is missing, or you just feel a bit lost. You don't really know where your life is going 5 years from now based on the reality that you have right now. That can be a very scary feeling, especially when you really feel like you should be grateful for what you have nothing to complain about, and you even start to feel guilty for having that void, for feeling like there's something wrong, when in actuality you're very aware that you're a very blessed person and that you have nothing to complain about. That's a very beautiful thing. I think a lot of people are aware that they are blessed. A lot of people are aware that they are privileged, up in a sense that they don't allow themselves to acknowledge the feelings of lack that they also feel inside. As I say, everything is a double-edged sword in life. So we do not want to constantly complain and constantly say, look at the things that are wrong in life, when we in fact are very privileged and have a lot of beautiful things in life. So it's a very beautiful mindset to be able to look at your life, be grateful for the things that you have, and realize that you have a lot. Realize that the life that you're living, someone else would die to have. That's a very beautiful mindset. But if it goes too far, it can be into your own detriment, whereas you don't allow your own emotions to come through when something is not feeling right, when something is missing, when you feel like you're not as happy as you wish or could be. And this is where looking at our emotions comes in. It can be very scary to ask ourselves the questions, the questions of, what do I really want? How do I really feel? Because I truly believe that we always have the answers, kinda. We always have the answers. Deep down, we know the answers to our problems. We know the answers to what we want. We know somewhere deep down. But I have had those moments where I just realized that all this time I was avoiding asking myself the right questions, because we know that sometimes the answers are not the things we want to hear. Sometimes the answers are going to push us into making decisions, or going to show us a path towards a solution that involves doing very painful things. Painful not in a cruel way, painful not in a destroy everything, but painful in a detaching from the things we dearly love, detaching from the things we know today and we have, to go towards things that maybe are better and more aligned for us. Change is one of the most uncomfortable things. It's something that you got to get used to. It's a process. Learning to have this mindset that you can detach from anything is something that will set you free. This is really a mindset that I have. I'm not afraid of change. I'm really I can pivot very easily, but that's also something that I had to grow. That's also something that I had to work on. It's not from one thing to the next. It's also something that you can build in life, but it has to start with constantly, every time, having that check with yourself, creating that space where you allow yourself to be radically honest with yourself. Ask yourself the questions. what am I doing in my life? Where am I going? Am I happy? What is working? What is not working? And I think it's very beneficial to have a space in your life where you do this on a monthly or a weekly basis. And now that I think about it, to me, I did this through astrology. I really appreciate astrology because I really live with the moon phases also as a woman, and I'm very in sync with my menstrual cycle and the moon. And so my life is actually reflecting the phases of the moon. This also allows me to always have this check-in point. I always know the new moon is a new start, and usually I would do new moon rituals or full moon rituals. Or now we just had the summer solstice. That's also a very pivotal point in the year when we have the equinox. These are always very important times where we can plant seeds again, where we can take a time to pause and to reflect. You can also do this on a weekly basis. It's giving kind of Sunday vibes. In order to start the week right, sometimes we really have to take the time to slow down and to ask ourselves the questions. How was my week? What did I like? What did I not like? What is making me feel good? What is no longer feeling good? Because one thing about life is it's constantly changing. It's constantly changing. And once we really set that idea into our foundation, once we know that foundationally there's always going to be change, and I shouldn't be so sure of the decisions I make today still applying to tomorrow or next week, it's going to allow ourselves to give ourselves the space to also change our mind. I can never make promises that I know that I can't keep. It's, for example, going into a relationship. I was very aware after my last relationship that no one should ever promise me to be with me forever, because that's a lie, first of all, because we all die. And secondly, we cannot look into the future, and people change. And when we start to accept that we all change, that we are all constantly going through things, that circumstances change our mind, change our feelings, change the way we look at life, we're also able to let go of our attachment to certain things. Please do not promise me that you will stay with me forever. I do not expect that either. Promise me that you will stay with me as long as it is healthy, and that you know that you will love me forever. I would love to hear that you will love me forever. But sometimes loving each other also implies letting go when your values no longer align. When you realize that the way you both are, the people you've both become, you no longer resonate with each other. Loving is also letting go. And we also have to be able to do that with ourselves. Learning to let go of the choices we made in the past, of the person we were sometimes a month ago, sometimes a year ago, sometimes a day ago. It can change and pivot so easily, but holding on is going to keep us stuck and is going to make us feel like we're doing things wrong. And the thing about not asking ourselves these questions, we're okay. I don't judge anyone that doesn't want to make changes, or that just wants to sit with those feelings that make them feel uncomfortable, or that want to live with that void. You have freedom of choice. You do how you do. If you don't want to let go, if you're afraid of change and of letting go, no one should push you into doing anything. But I think that when there's other people involved, especially in a relationship, I think it's very selfish to not be radically honest with yourself, because this also means you're not being radically honest with the other person. And I feel like being radically honest with yourself allows yourself to love yourself fully as you are. And if you put yourself on the table fully as you are, always, no lies, this is me, take it or leave it. This is also how you can find out if people truly love you for you. As soon as you put on the ugly stuff and they run away, they don't accept you, was it real love in the first place? And on the other side, why I think it can be very selfish to hide our deepest thoughts and emotions from the people around us because we're afraid that it might hurt them, or we're afraid that they might run away. The fact that you're already afraid of that happening means that somewhere you know that that might actually happen. But what does that actually mean? You are taking away the choice of the other person to make decisions for themselves, to love you as you are or to not love you as you are. And another part of that, sorry, I know it's a bit confusing right now. Another part of that is that when we are not in alignment, so when I believe that when you are radically honest with yourself, look yourself in the mirror and have that moment with yourself, it brings you back into alignment every time. And I feel like when you're not in alignment, your energy, your frequency kind of lowers. Your energy starts to get a bit more stagnant and like, it's going to feel that internal conflict. Energy is so strong. Don't underestimate the power of your energy. And don't underestimate people's ability to pick up on your energy, especially people that you're close to, people that you have sexual contact with. They're literally, you guys are one. Like they can feel you on a other different level. I don't know if you ever had that with telepathy, like with your sisters, your brothers, family members, your best friends, your partner. Once you're really connected with a person, you guys start to sense each other so much more easily. And the thing with relationships, for example, is that when you are having that internal conflict, when you're not sure of where you are or what you want, you radiate that energy, and the other person can pick that up as feeling that you're not sure about them. The effect that this might have on someone is that they start to doubt themselves. They start to feel bad about themselves. They start to maybe have lower self-esteem or think that they are the problem, which sometimes might not be the case at all. But that's just how energy works. So even when we're not really conscious of it, that's the effect it might have. And it might break down something that was actually very good. You might love someone very well, but if you're not being honest with yourself, if you're not being honest with them, other energies and other feelings might come into the mix and really destroy something that was really good at one point. Sometimes it's best to be honest with the people we love and let go in love, because only love can let go in a peaceful way. And I think it hurts a lot. Letting go because you love someone and you want the best for someone can be so painful, but you walk away with an appreciation for that person, and pain will fade over time. And what you will have left with the people like this is their honesty and their goodwill for you, and also the love that you truly shared. Some things are meant to be until they aren't anymore. And those are also with some things that we do in our life, jobs that we have, friendships that we have. But if we postpone being radically honest with ourselves and having difficult communication, not only with ourselves, but also with the people around us that are connected, that are involved, we might end up destroying all the good things that we have. There's one thing about change. Change is constant. Either you go with the flow and you accept the change and you surf on the waves, or either life is gonna force change into your life. And usually it's not gonna be in an easy flow, beautiful, easygoing way, but in a very destructive one, because we cannot resist change. So yes, you might want to hold on to it as long as possible, but you might have a lot of collateral damage for doing that. That's why I truly believe that just learning to be honest with yourself and implementing that routine where you have that check-in point with yourself on a daily basis can be through therapy, can be through journaling, it can be through prayer. This is really going to change your life for the better. And not only for you, but you're also going to be the best person for the people around you. This is also going to allow you to have more grace for other persons. I think for me, it's more like I don't have a grudge for anyone that decides to no longer be in my life, because I understand if I was not aligned with you, if there were things that just didn't work, or it was not the right time, or it was the right time back then, but not anymore today. I will honor your decision if that is what's best for you, because if you were in my life, if we were ever close, my love for you is real, and love will not fade. Once that I love you, I will love you forever. So even if you're no longer in my life anymore, I will love you from afar, and just hope that you keep making the decisions that are best for you. And I think if we all start to think like that, wouldn't life be beautiful? Wouldn't life be beautiful? I think life would be very beautiful. But anyways, that's a utopia, right? We can work towards it though. I truly believe it. It's very nice. And also I think that's also one of the reasons that I'm very single for the moment, which I absolutely don't mind. Now that I know what I want, I know that I would only want to have the things that I'm very sure about. And I also do not want to involve people in my life when I'm not sure yet of where I want to go. That's why I feel like as soon as I started my spiritual journey, well, I've been in a spiritual journey since I was born, but as soon as I was like the pandemic and like really that spiritual awakening phase, it has kind of pushed me into this phase of solitude. I've been single, I've been detaching from a lot of friendships and not necessarily losing some friends. I'm still very close to friends, but it's like my life is very individual. I'm very isolated a lot. Not isolated that I don't talk to anyone ever, and that's really to protect my energy, but also to protect the people that I love from me that is constantly, very intensely changing, you know? Sometimes it's very beneficial to just focus on yourself and figure your life out before pulling in different people and unconsciously affecting also the people around you. But that's just my personal point of view on it, and that's my personal opinion. Might be different for everyone. So do it as you please, and maybe it's just a nice thing to think about and to see where you stand on it about. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you liked it. There's definitely more where this came from. So feel free to subscribe to my channel and leave the video a thumbs up. Feel free to share this video if you think it would be beneficial for anyone to hear. And I will see you in the next video. Definitely. Thank you so much. Bye.